That might take some time to farm up, but I think when you look at the combinations Felt has, Sand King plus Grimstroke is really nice, right? Inkswell, Burst right forward. You get some nice follow-up, good silence, good control there. You've got the Snapfire down the line who might be able to farm an Ags. Then you've got the Gobble Up Spit on the Sand King. So you're building up your own team fight here. It is looking fairly back and forth in terms of what you can do. But with a Sand King pickup, that does sort of leave open the options for, again, Void for Hustlers if they want to just go in to that combination. We have been seeing a little bit more of that Faceless Void in NA as well, but it's something that only comes out with very specific lineups. I think Hustlers just has the option ready if they want to. You can see them focusing on mids, take out the Storm Spirit in there, and Felt focusing on those pause ones, taking out the AM and Monkey King, natural Battle Fury builders, and just heroes that can really play with, say, the arena here. So they're just taking out some key combos from both sides. We're going to have to see how Felt closes out. They still need that mid response to the Invoker. Ember and Void are still in the Ember and Void Spirit are still an option there, and Hustlers still have the Void Faces Void on hand as well for a last pick if they want to.
I did forget the Faceless Void was the thing again. It definitely could come out. You never know. Felt their final pickup, 1 minute 16 seconds reserve time left to make this decision. All about that mid lane now. It doesn't feel like it's that tough of a pick, right? Like into the Invoker, it's Invoker not really known to be that scary in the mid lane. Obviously, you're just kind of there farming XP, farming some gold up.
Yeah. You do have potential of rotations here from the Mirana. You've got a lot of pressure coming out just from that support pick. Felt could try, but they don't reach as far as the Mirana can. So if the Invoker finds a good angle, gets a Cold Snap or a Tornado off, lands it, Mirana follow-up arrow could be some pressure down mid for Felt to worry about. So they might want to weigh that against their support options here, against combinations they could go for mid. They're digging into the reserve. If not the Spirit Brothers, then something stable mid would be nice. The Queen of Pain is an option if they want some more mobility on hand. Co-op with Grimstroke's really nice as well. You don't have natural combos for the Soulbind, but I don't think that's a big issue here. They go with Lina instead, so now they do have a Soulbind combo, and a hero that can hold mid really well. You've got good wave clear, you've got good damage early on. Very hard for the Invoker to bully out Alina fully, and the initial levels for the Invoker are going to be just a bit slower with the Lina harassment coming through. So it's a great pickup for Felt. They've got a lot of stuns here, right? Snapfire Cookie stun, Sand King Burrow Strike, the follow-up Inkswell from Grimstroke, and the LSA from Lina. They've got a lot of ways of holding down the heroes of D2 Hustlers. Hustlers, they still have that Spear Arrow combo. They've got the Egg that can pop off in the Invoker spells, but it's a bit less steady for Hustlers. It's not a guaranteed hold. So again, you still worry about the Phantom Lancer dancing around you. That's something that I don't think they really have room in their pause one to fix unless it's the Void. Beyond that, PL should be able to just run around here.
Final pickup, D2 Hustlers. They want to switch anything up. And they still need that pause one themselves. Very hard into the PL to know what you really go for here. Like, I suppose you could go into heroes like the Ursa, go back into that Battle Fury. Doesn't feel amazing right now. But 10 seconds to think about this. And they'll go for the Wraith King pickup, interestingly enough.
It gives them hold. They've got a good stun. They've got some very early power spikes to play with a Wraith King. Not sure if Yuma is going to opt for the Radiance build, but that's what we've been seeing nowadays. Usually Armlet Radiance is what we've seen a couple of times coming through. Of course, we'll see if he can get that pacing out. His lane partner should be Pandego. So Wraith King plus Phoenix combination on hand. Very hard to kill off. There are, again, good team fight coming out from both sides. Hustlers are going to look to play with the Arena plus their Invoker spell, so Papatuti needs to get some early EXP going. Whereas for Felt, just buy space here for comfort. Let him farm up in the PL. Hit the Diffusal timing. You've got a really good pick into Wraith King. You can just burn off the mana early on. Before the 20-minute mark without the Ag Shard, Yuma might not be able to maximize his reincarnation, so you have some good responses from Felt, some good momentum from both sides. Should make for a very interesting first game in the series.
Certainly should, John, and we'll be going into it very, very soon. Game 1 between Felt and D2 Hustlers, and I suppose I'll ask you the hard question now, John. Who came out with the better draft in your opinion?
I'm gonna have to go with Felt. I like their lineup a little bit more. I like the hole they have on hand. They've got really good follow-up to their spells. They've got the counter to the Phoenix Egg, as long as the egg's outside arena, or if it's inside arena, as long as the Snapfire is inside as well, you can clear it out. Even the Lena can kind of take care of that egg, depending on position. So you've got some pretty good counters to that combination on D2 Hustlers. With a Raid King, you always worry about the PL into Raid King. You don't really want to take that late game, even if you go for Radiance with your Ag Shard. There's a bit of a timing here. Hustlers have to play around, and for Felt, they only really need to stall out just a little bit more for comfort. Beyond that, the rest of your heroes do have some really good synergy with each other. Like a quick Veil on Zor buffs up the damage of your Lena, buffs up your Grimstroke, buffs up your Snapfire. It's just really such a value pickup on a hero that naturally just builds it for his team anyway.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that, John. I do feel like the draft from Felt does just look a little bit better and harder to deal with. Shout out to 1437, by the way. Completely forgot he was playing today in the NA lower division. Good to see him around.
Yeah. He's a busy man, right? Like he's casting, I
man.
believe, the SA division. So sneaking him in, I think the last time Hustlers had to play, they had to play with a stand-in. I believe it was Frugos who was in, as 1427 was, schedule conflicts. It happens.
Yep. Do what you gotta do. Who's the noob?
Drawing the line.
It's Tay.
It looks like it's Tay. Yeah.
You better hope he's
being
not noob in
flamed.
that mid lane right now. I mean, you don't want to allow this Invoker to have a great time, right? Like, the whole point is this Invoker is meant to kind of struggle in the mid lane a little bit, especially going for the Quas build-up. You'd expect Tay on the laner to really just give it to him. Just constant harass, constant out CS on the laner. It should be a difficult lane for this Invoker, for sure.
Yeah. And it's something he's got to hold steady against. Really important to fight for these power bounty runes as well. Initially, you can see Tay going for no regen on hand, not a single set of tangos. He's rushing that bottle. You want to be able to secure at least 2 of your bounties here on the side of Hustlers. And they are making their way down to at least defend their little ramp one in the jungle. Of course, the side of Felt don't want to give that away as well. They are smoked up, so they're taking a more aggressive stance on Felt, but they're not going to find anyone up top.
No, they are not. They'll find that out very, very soon. So they do get a nice deep ward down at least to get some vision going. Same thing happening down at the bot side. Hustlers, they're having a look around. See if they can find anyone. Perhaps some deep wards out from them as well. And
30 seconds and
in fact, there was. Into the mid lane they go. So they're going to try and sneak up from behind the side of Felt. Another deep ward placed. Felt, they're going to sit in their triangle for now.
Yeah, playing it safe. They've got 2 sentries here on Koyaanisqatsi, so we'll see if he can spot out that early ward drop down mid. Should be, again, really important if you want to hold those runes. And both teams not going to run into each other, just going to go for the steady 2 bounty starts. So you're not going to have that head start into the bottle here for Tay. Going to have to clear out a couple of waves without any on-hand regen, but it's an Invoker lane. Papatuti goes for the Quas as you'd expect, has the Cold Snap ready. They are still clumped up around. 1437 does have the arrow, and Yuma's actually still playing that jungle. So they might just have to TP to split up these lanes here on Hustler's side.
Yeah, eventually Yuma's going to TP out. Looks like 1437's going to make his way down bot, and they do eventually just decide better off trying to go for a first blood attempt down to the spot lane. Definitely not really worth missing those waves up the top. So 1437's going to commit that first arrow to securing the range creep anyway. Pretty standard stuff. In terms of kill potential here with this Mars Mirana, I suppose you are kind of relying on a Spear or even a God's Rebuke to try and set up the arrow. Early on, you can take down Comfort pretty easily. So if they can get those arrows going early on, maybe you just kind of dominate Comfort throughout the early game.
Yeah, I'd say they'd have until level 5. In fact, even up until 6, you've got a lot of kill potential here. You don't necessarily want to go for Doppel Max for Comfort. Not the build that allows you to farm well. just really defends yourself, and you don't get much utility from it. So there's still a big window here where the Vai Lama can have a lot of impact. And of course, Koya Niskatsi doesn't really trade well against Mirana. Like, you've got better swing animation for 1437, much better range, and it's just a lot harder to sustain a right-click harassment here.
Of course, in the mid lane, you've got Papaturi up against Tay, and Tay is being very aggressive already on that laner, making sure this Invoker does not feel very safe. And in fact, top lane, a lot of damage being dealt right now onto Zor with the crit out. Yuma, he's going to chase him down. He really wants this kill. Does eventually think better of it. Just leaves him be, and Zor will be able to salve up, but with D2 Hustlers, they are being rather aggressive in pretty much every single lane apart from maybe the mid lane. For now, it does appear to be working out quite nicely.
Yeah, they've got some really good level 1 spikes. They've got really tanky heroes in most lanes, like Yuma and Pandiego. It's going to be very hard to zone out, you know, Wraith King, lots of strength in hand, a good amount of HP, decent armor, but the Blightstone here from Justice can kind of counteract that. Really interesting here from Justice as well, opting for a little Shredder level 1, so we're not seeing the Scatter Blast burst damage through. Just wants to trade evenly, not care about the initial Fire Spirit spam. So even if you get hit by Fire Spirits on the Snapfire, you can still trade harassment with Panda Yugo really nicely.
Still no kills on the map. Neither team really finding the opportunity quite yet. The first blood is still up for grabs for both these teams. As I say that, bot lane, Koyona he has been caught out, 1437. Able to land the arrow and eventually find the kill, though top lane, Zor does end up killing off Yuma. So not a really bad trade across the map. Zor getting that pos 1 Wraith King. They do get first blood on D2 Hustlers.
Yeah, kind of balance out losing your core. You're still not particularly happy about dropping the Wraith King, but it's something you expect. The aggression starting to pile through from both teams. You can see the harassment that Vai Lama does onto Comfort. It's a bit much, and you know, level 1 Doppel's nice to save yourself, but it is a really long cooldown, so he has to be a bit careful when he uses that spell.
Mid lane, Tay dropping extremely low on the Lena. Does Fairy Fire up and will survive, as we are going to have a pause flying out.
One of my favorites.
The Pandego just wants to restart. Vai Lama is the one to restart, of course. Bit of lag issues going on here, but yeah, looking across all the lanes, I suppose it is fairly even. Like, you look at the CS board, you've got the Lena at the top, you get your Sand King coming second, and well, after that it does get very even between all the cores, but for now the game is looking very, very even between these two, and I still feel like the draft from Felt will favor them later on. Mind you, we are only 3.5 minutes in. There's just been a bit of pausing going on here, which has kind of dragged this out a little bit. But there we go. Reconnections are here. 1437 is back. We'll just wait on Vai Lama, and there he is. Get back into it.
Yeah, it's shaping up well so far. The big difference here is between Yuma and Comfort. Yuma at 15 to Comfort at 15 to 3. Yuma at 8 to 1. Been way too slow for your Wraith King. I think this is not the lane you'd want to have if you're a Wraith King. You want some initial farm. You want to hit at least level 5 before committing to the jungle. So it's a bit slower going. Yuma stuck at level 2, about to hit 3, but that buzz put Zor pretty much at a level up on top of the Wraith King, and that's never good news. Once you start leveling some value points in the Caustic or just getting more Sandstorm, you really just can't stand there and last hit. There's more pressure on Pandego to apply his harassment to always land the Fire Spirits, but if you don't have vision down as well, it can be really hard to target that Sand King.
1437 going to rotate in the mid lane now just to secure the other rune for Papaturi. Tay going to try and steal it away, but now he might be punished for this. The arrow does land as well. 1437, a great setup. That'll be Tay going down. Papaturi going to be very happy about that on the Invoker. Felt,
yeah,
it's going to feel a bit bad.
It's really greedy from Tay trying to go for both water runes there. Already grabbed his, walks down, doesn't respect the rotation potential from Mirana, and it's just something you have to worry about with a Mirana. It can be all over the map really fast, and you just sometimes never spot the arrow. They still haven't taken care of this Obs ward as well, so Hustlers have gotten full value for that, and just with that one kill on 1437, you're already really happy with that.
Comfort. Inkswell's going to be out of the PL, but Gonna be able to chase down the Mars. Not sure it would have really led to much anyway. So Devay Lama still barely tanky on the Mars. So 1-2 now, slight net worth lead for T2 Hustlers. I suppose Comfort is farming extremely well, however, on the PL. Like, he's not really been slowed down whatsoever. Sitting at 29-3 in comparison to the 18-3 of the Wraith King. So you do have this problem where Yuma's not finding as much CS as say the PL. That could come back to bite him later on. Looks like Zor's been doing a pretty good job of just zoning out Yuma.
Yeah, it's just a melee hero against Sand King. It's never fun. You always have to worry about the Sandstorm there.
Now Devay Lama goes down. Skirmishes, the one to pick it up. Comfort, he would have loved the kill, but he doesn't really need it right now anyway. But they do end up getting the Mars, and well, that's 1437 just kind of leaving the lane and them seeing the opening for it. He does make his way back over now, but Skirmishes is going to kind of block him off from the lane, and eventually Devay Lama will be back anyway.
But the one thing that I was going to say is saving T2 Hustlers in terms of their force rating is that Devay Lama should be able to hit 6 at a really good point, and you can really start to apply pressure with that arena. Like, you can just drop it, try to get that kill. Up top, though.
Yeah, onto the Phoenix they go. Pandego, he's dead. Justice almost going down, but not quite. He'll be able to salve up now. But I say that, Papatuti's going to show up on the Invoker, and with the Tornado, he does claim the kill. So now a rotation in from Tay into the Burrow Strike onto the Wraith King with the EMP and Laguna. They blow up Yuma. And Papatuti, he's not safe yet either. He'll try to turn onto Zor and might just find him. But he'll lose his courier in the process. There's a very nice rotation out from Papatuti. There's another Tornado flies out, but it won't be long enough to reach Tay. I don't know, you kill that Yuma Wraith King off again and it just does not feel worthwhile at all. At least for D2 Hustler.
Definitely not. I mean, Papatuti at least manages to salvage the situation. He gets a urn charge up as well. So that's really important for your Invoker. Just having that on hand allows you to turn situations there. And he could start eyeing mid if he wants. He's got that level advantage now.
Tay, copying a lot of damage. Cookie, just to enjoy, he gets away and he actually turns around for the CS.
Thanks.
Luckily for Tay, because there was a Sunstrike right behind him. I do love the fact that Papatuti has gone for that level 1 in Exort just to have Sunstrike. Just to be able to throw it out there casually and try to secure some kills for himself.
Yeah, you've got a Murana and you've got a Morris. You can really follow quite nicely. That did leave them exposed bot. Skirmishes was alone, and they did drop a Arena for that.
They did, but it's a nice easy kill, and I'm sure Devay Lama will be very happy with that. Because he can start pressuring the bottom tier 1 tower now, and there's not going to be much in the way of defending here for Felt. So it looks like Comfort's already rotated over to the Radiant Triangle now. I'm sure they're more than happy to let this bottom tier 1 go down if it means that, you know, Comfort is still freely farming on this this PL, so no big deal here for Felt. Hustlers, they kind of do the same thing. Like, Yuma's trying to catch up himself. He is pretty far off the armlet. So it is going to be quite a while till he has that up, but well, it looks like he is going to end up going into that build you talked about, the armlet into the Radiance. As top lane, Pantego. He's gone now. Comfort will take that one.
Really nice kill to take. Not the biggest one. This is still space out for Yuma. He's pretty much just uncontested in the jungle, has his level 6 up. The reincarnations there in case a rotation comes in. The armlet's just not going to be the quickest. He can at least play with, say, the skeleton summons to clear out these camps, but they run the risk of giving some objectives out. You could start to line up for top now on the side of Salt, although they're not really fully committing. They have sent Justice down bot to get some solo EXP, but the arena's back.
And it is Justice. Sunray still going, will eventually get him. Pantego able to take that one, and now Yuma's even rotated over on the Wraith King, so they just want this bottom tier 1 gone. Felt not quite in a position to trade tier 1s yet. This will allow Yuma to just start farming up the other side of the map as well and just be a lot safer. The Felt, I mean, they started that a long time ago anyway, but the Hustlers are starting to catch up now. terms of map presence is 1437 again. Tay gonna avoid the arrow this time. Spear will latch. Sunstrike is there. And that'll be Tay going down again. Burrow Strike, no, Match dodges there with the illusion. He's still trying to run, but they will eventually get him. Now Koyaanisqatsi with the Soulbind gonna come in onto the Invoker and the Mars. They'll try onto the Invoker with a double Burrow Strike out Zor, setting up onto Papaturi. Where's your dust? They have a sentry. That'll be enough. Justice with the Scatter Blast will take care of the Invoker. That was a very nice turnaround there from Felt.
Yeah, they managed to stall out long enough with Tay. Really good use of that illusion rune. They buy out some space here for Comfort to just shove in top, get that free farm, and they found 2 cores for their Lina. So you're still not too upset about that. Your Lina's still finding farm. You hold onto your Laguna here as well, so you still have some burst options on hand if you want to go for a play.
You do. Mid lane 1437 is still sticking around here. Top side. Justice, he's going to show himself as they try to go into Davai Lama. He does land. They still have the silence out with the Stroke of Fate and now the Burrow Strike. They will just make sure he dies as 2 TPs as well. Going to be cancelled off on the top T1 tower. Very nice from Feldon again, John. I feel with this PL just farming so well. I just don't know how well Yuma's going to be able to catch up on this rating or even keep up. You look at his net worth, it's sitting at 3.7k. It's definitely just not great.
Yeah, and while all that happens, Felt still keeps aggression up across the map. Like, they're playing as 3 or 4. They're just constantly forward with their Sand King. They've got an early blink up on Zor here, so he can really just set up for his team. And you don't have that aggression coming out yet from Hustlers. They've got Arena, they've got Egg. They might want to play around those timings, just drop the Arena Egg combo and try to win team fights every time those spells are up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A Hustler. Group up together mid. They'll go for a smoke. The line's already been drawn out past that tier 1 tower.
Allies disappear.
In mid lane, they see Zor. Justice is around the area. Zor now's going to get jumped on with the Sandstorm out, but it may not be enough. He'll try to Burrow Strike with a cookie, and Matt, that may be enough as the Arena does come down. 1437 still secures the kill, and now the Egg does end up exploding. That'll be Koyaanisqatsi going down onto Justice. They found another. Tay, he's trying to run before they get closer to him. But now D2 Hustler. Just so aggressive on the map, and even without this farm on Yuma, they just don't seem to care. They're still making these team fights work, and well, of course the tier 1 tower push, still very easy for the Wraith King, even without the farm.
Yeah, that's just such a good Egg coming out from Pandago. Positioning it up the ramp, they didn't need the Arena until after when they dropped the 2 supports, so they had no access point towards that Egg. They could not burst it down with a little Shredder, and it just kind of fell flat. The movement from Felt not quite lining up. They're still stalling out here for Comfort. He's got a lot in the bank. He's got his Yasha up, additional Alacrity up, so he's trying to build into the Diffusal now. I think once you've got the Diffusal up on your PL, you're going to be feeling really comfy. They know the Egg Arena's down as well, so Felt can comfortably smoke up and try to fight here.
Gonna try. Pandago looks like he's going to be the target. Not quite the best target to go for, but it looks like they'll have to settle. They'll just take what they can get. And I think you're pretty fine with that if you're D2 Hustler. Just seeing your Phoenix die like that for a 5-man smoke is not really too big of an issue. Because they will have to leave their own jungle, but that's also fine because they have to go to the Rainian jungle anyway. For Felt, you get a Phoenix for your trouble. That's about it.
It's not too bad. I think Hustler right now, they understand that they can't really do anything while these spells are down. They will have Egg back up on this respawn for Pandago, so if they wanted to force an issue, they could once more. Love the build-up here from Felt, though. Tay's just rushing a BKB after the ults. He knows he just wants to stand and fight, wants to be able to burst through the Egg, walk out of the arena, focus down on the bigger issues on hand coming out from Hustlers, and this early BKB should help Tay achieve that, as long as he doesn't stall it out with deaths.
Lightstruck Array is actually going to connect to 1437. He's going to be alright. He does just walk away from that with the lead.
There is little hope for Dire's middle tower.
Money to burn.
Yuma has queued up the Radiance as well, so he's actually going to go all the way and just make sure he picks it up. There's going to be a lot of value up against the PL this game. While Comfort still trying to go for the Diffusal Blade, it's going to be a bit more time. It's going to be one of those important games for Yuma to maybe just pick up the shards. Sure, he doesn't need that mana cost for the Reincarnation. It should make him feel a little bit more comfortable once he has the Radiance already up.
Shouldn't be too long to farm once you have that Radiance up. Just need to sit through until the 20-minute mark. If the Diffusal lines up here for Comfort, and it is, it's actually just about 100 gold away. Really good scan coming through here from Felt, knowing that they were trying to rotate with that Moonlight Shadow onto Comfort. Comfort should be safe unless he forces the issue, but it looks like he won't.
Mid lane. Sunstrike gonna get scouted out, or rather Roshan gonna get scouted out by the Sunstrike. Pandago, just sitting in the Shadow Amulet right now. He's actually getting quite a bit of vision of the side of Feld as they move into that top side. Abe Lama gonna go to the uphill. Koyana Skatsi, Sentry Ward down, but there's the Arena out. It is gonna be just an Arena Spear for now, but there's your Chaos Meteor as well. With the urn, just to make sure he dies. They do not want to overcommit for this, as Yuma now will rush in. A burn strike towards the south. They found the Phoenix, but an arrow is there for 1437, and now the egg. It does come out in time. Comfort, he's trying to run. He might just make it out, but the egg is going to explode, and the rest of his team is going to suffer, as Tay will be left behind to try and fight this one out. But he cannot. And the only bright side was that Comfort was able to make his way out just barely on that Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, it's the effect of the Roche walls. Only the fountain at the back counts as a wall. The side cliffs don't actually latch on. They didn't manage to get the angle there, so they didn't get the full team wipe, but they're still very pleased on Hustler's end. Felt was trying to force an issue. They kind of staggered their spells. They got the Soul Bind from Koyan and Scotty before he died, but the rest of the team was just too far.
And Epicenter from Zor does claim the life of 1437. That is just the Mirana though, but I suppose they'll take what they can get. So now they're 3k behind, and well, I was talking all game about how Yuma was behind Comfort, but now he's only 600 gold behind. That Sacred Relic should be picked up soon, and I can only imagine how much stronger they're going to be once you've got the Radiance up. Definitely going to be much less scared of Comfort. Quite frankly, John, in that last team fight, there was nothing to be afraid of anyway. Comfort wasn't really able to stand his ground and just fight.
They were just way too scattered from Felt. Their positioning was really awkward. They're split across the river in the same general direction, so they have to really be careful. They need to save Justice in a good spot to be able to focus down the Yag. Even Tay was kind of caught out in a really awkward position. So, you know, Hustlers, as long as they keep finding those angles, they're going to look good here.
Skotzi. Soulbind is out. Comfort's going to move in. The double Laguna there as well, and they do get the Mars. Pandago, he'll just Icarus dive out, and we didn't really have the egg to commit there, even if he wanted to. It's a very nice kill for Felt. That's all they're going to get, though.
Yeah, it's a really good one. That was forced out by Hustler, so now they're down to Mars. They've got the egg up, but down a hero.
Oh, nice Spyro Strike Zora. Great initiation onto Pumpatuti. He's going to Tornado, but the Yules was there into the Line Strike Array. Do they have the damage output, though? They don't have the Laguna Blade, but they will have it in the end. Pumpatuti does die to Zor. Pandago now being caught out with the Burrow Strike. A very nice one there from Zor. Completely blind on the Sand King. There was no follow-up though, and the Phoenix is going to be able to remove himself.
Yeah, they've managed to cut their losses there indeed through Hustlers. They've got the Mars back up, they've got the Phoenix up, so they've got Arena Egg ready as soon as they get the respawn under Invoker. They will trade away to mid-tier 1, but they already took the opposing mid-tier 1, so it's not a massive loss. You're just basically evening out the map control here for Felt, and you already have the BKB up and running here on your Invoker. So You're going to feel a lot safer on Papa Tutti. He can stand in front, throw his combos off, and Felt have to be a bit cautious. Their own BKBs aren't up yet. Tay still saving up. Only has enough for the Mithril Hammer, not quite enough for both that and the recipe. So a little bit more farm needed here for the Lina. And again, they have to play while they're strong here on the side of D2 Hustlers. Force the issues out with his BKB and perhaps look for another smoke gank.
That's what they're doing. Hustler gonna move into the top side, into the Radiant Triangle. Comfort. Back off at the right time, but they did spot him out. Oh, Yuma, he goes for the courier, but it won't matter. The TP not going to be fast enough. They found the PL and Comfort. It's been blown up. Massive pick off there for D2 Hustler. And that'll be the top tier 1 tower gone now.
Yeah, it's just really nice, really clean. He just reacted a bit too late in the TP. Probably would have been better to walk into, say, a tree side. Keep yourself safe from vision. And they managed to find that kill without popping eggs. So they only pop Arena. Cooldown is not that long now, it's in 5 seconds. They've got even more windows here for D2 Hustlers to play aggressive. Whereas for Felt, they're still trying to play this farm game. They're still trying to wait for Tay's BKB. They're building into a Eul's as well under Sand King, which, again, should help them out in setting up. But it just feels a bit too passive. You've hit a really big stride here in D2 Hustlers, 5k up. Yuma has not been under pressure despite going for the Radiance. Like, you talk about the PL free farming, Yuma's now ahead by 1k, and the Radiance just allows him to clear out even faster. Still doesn't have his Ag shard up, but it just feels like Comfort's not ready to face off against the Raid King anyway. Like, he's just been still playing this farm game, still being rather passive, is saving up for a heart, which will take some time to build into. He does have 2.8k in the bank, but you still need to wait for the rest of the parts to be up on PL.
There you do. Smoke up here from Felt, but it was spotted, I believe. Or maybe not. Hustler, they're sticking around. Justice gonna have his smoke broken. Zor is in with the Burrow Strike, and now the Soulbind is also out. They need that Laguna ASAP, however. It's not gonna come. The Soulbind gonna wear off as the epicenter now. Zor is still going down and does die. Excuse me, Yuma is gonna die. Yuma is just gonna back off as Papa Tutti now. The Chaos Meteor is gonna be off the mark, but it won't matter. Tay's gone. Mars, Arena,
Comfort.
rather Spear is there onto Comfort with the follow-up stun, and Comfort's gone. Sunstrike now on Justice. It is going to connect, and they'll find another. And D2 Hustler is just completely outplaying the side of Team Felt, it seems.
Alright, that was a mess coming out from Felt. They couldn't immediately get the Laguna Soulbind. They burst down Yuma without letting PL hit him. So the defusal didn't do work there at all. Yuma still got his respawn and reset. They take the tier 2 from that, and they widen the lead. 9k up, 13 to 19, D2 Hustlers. Just playing so much better as a team. That's a big issue. Felt, it just feels disjointed, the response right now. And now they don't have Laguna, they don't have Epicenter for a little bit longer. Looks like their game plan is just to wait for Comfort to be too big to handle. Just the Radiance alone from Yuma has been causing issues. And even with the defusal on the PL, you've got the Ag shard up in Yuma, so it doesn't even matter. He's always going to have that second life up.
That he will. He really hasn't needed it whatsoever throughout this game. D2 Hustler, no need to rush. I mean, they've got a 10k net worth advantage. It doesn't seem like there's much in the way of stopping them in this game. Yuma can just get that Blink Dagger up before they reinitiate. You've still got Roshan, you've got a double damage rune at the bot rune spot, which Yuma is about to scout out. It's a matter of, do you want to take a team fight or do you just want to go Roshan?
Well, Egg is about to be off cooldown, so I think a team fight looks a lot juicier. Felt do hold the high ground in the triangle. As long as they don't give an opening here, this might not pan out the way Hustlers want, but they are really strong.
Nice Sandstorm timing. Arrow not going to be on the mark. Still Arena is there, but Tay does avoid the spear and gets the BKB off. Chaos Meteor is going to be on Zor, but it's not really that great. And Hustler, well, they kind of just missed everything. They weren't able to lock down a target. And now they might be able to turn here as the Burrow Strike is out on Yuma, but there's Yegg being committed comfort. He's going to try and fight with the Tornado. Is there Hustler trying to protect the Yegg, and they do. Pantago going to be just fine as now Comfort needs to run, but Yuma is on the chase again, and with the Sunray, they will get the kill onto the left side. Dave Lama, he does die, but here comes the cavalry. Yuma right onto Justice, and that'll be your Snapfire gone. They do at least get the reincarnation life, but that's about all they get. Onto the high ground it is for D2 Hustler.
And D2 Hustler's just always forcing Felt to be split up. Like this time, it's always 3 heroes on one side, 2 heroes on the other side, so the Egg couldn't be focused down by the Snapfire. Basically, the entire reason you picked the Snap to counteract that Phoenix, you're not getting value there. Pandago just allowed to fully channel the Egg through, and the response is just very split up from Felt. Like, they just don't focus on the same target. They got the Soul Bind off, they don't really commit for the Laguna as the BKBs were flying through, they didn't really focus on a single target well, and it's just disjointed. Felt just needs to kind of work on that communication, focus in on these fights, because that was probably one of the worst initiations you could ask for from D2 Hustlers. Arena does nothing in the middle. They kind of were scattered around as well, but they're just a lot stronger. So even if you isolate these heroes in clumps, if you're not playing as 5, Felt will always kind of lag behind just because of that networking level difference.
Moonlight Shadow, they're going to kind of just go out and go back in. Hey, does not want to die, but the Wraithfire Blast going to be there with the arrow follow-up, and there's your tip out. Dave Lama gives the tip over from the grave as they go back into that tier 3 tower. And D2 Hustler, they are looking strong. They'll leave the racks alone. They're not going to go for it quite yet. They are so far ahead, and they do have a Roshan to go back to.
Yep. Should be a really straightforward rush to take here. They've got a lot of damage on hand. They could easily just alacrity up Yuma if they feel like it's not enough. Felt they could have an opportunity. They are smoked up. They've got Epicenter ready with a blink. So Zor could make a big play, but it's a lot riding in the Sand King to disrupt this Roche.
It is a good time, though. There's no egg available on Pantago, so they're going with the Burrow Strike, but a nice Tornado there to save the day for Pantago. He's going to be able to back, and now the Arena and the Arrow flying in comfort. He's in trouble. He'll try to fight back onto Yuma. They'll get 1 life, but at what cost? They've lost the Phantom Lancer. Zor's going to try and stave a Llama, but it's not looking great. Koyana Skatsi, meanwhile, trying to run for 1437. In comes your Sunray. That'll be your Grimstroke gone. Justice now is going to try and get himself out, but Dave Lama comes in for the God's Rebuke, and 1437 does kill him off. Zor, a very nice Burrow Strike, does get the Mars. And they don't have detection. They can't get the trade. So at least Zor gets himself out with something, but the Roshan's still going to be finished here. There's not much Felt can do about it.
No. They don't have really good access points anymore. Zor could have tried to risk it, but wouldn't have really amounted to much. It is only the first Roche, so I think if that was second Roche, you'd really want to throw your bodies forward, but D2 Hustlers get to have an additional life on Yuma. And this Wraith King's just pretty much uncontrollable now. You lost your timing with the early defusal, you didn't hunt down the Wraith King before the Ag Shard was up, and now your illusions are just burning to Radiance. You don't have the heart yet to mitigate that. Still need 2 parts here from Comfort, so it's a bit off until that point. You're also not progressing here for Tay. If he's got the BKB up, it hasn't felt the most impactful. Trying to go for the right-click build now on the Lina, going for the Chrysalis, maybe into the Daedalus next. But again, it's just a lot of farm that all of these cores have to build into, and D2 Hustlers just have complete control of the map. They've locked out the bot jungle. Not very safe for Felt to farm there, even though there's not much vision from Hustlers yet. But they're just constantly in that area. They're going to be lining up for the bot tier 2, which isn't going to stand for long, and that's going to be the last outer tower for Felt. So there's a possibility for mega creeps the next time you push up here on Hustlers. And of course, Yuma has another double damage rune. What alacrity. That's
amazing.
That's 400, 500 damage per hit.
Nothing wrong with that, John. Pantago in the mid lane, ready to go. Arena, oh, barely off the mark. Nice attempt there from Dave Lama. Not quite on the mark, though, as well, the mid-racks is still going to go down very, very fast, as Yuma is still hitting for 400 per right-click. Let 1437 take care of it.
Middle barracks has fallen.
Do they want to go for another? I mean, it feels like they've got nothing to be afraid of here. They are going to go for another.
Yeah. No worries. Like, you've got Aegis, you've got max level reincarnation. There's a possibility to just get it off cooldown once you pop the first one. So just no worries. You've got Arena up in a few, half a minute, but you've got Egg to back you up. You've got heals from the Sun Ray. There's just too much to burst you for Felt here.
Yume is sitting there very healthy. It's like he's not going to finish off the racks quite yet. They might just re-initiate once backing again. I mean, Aegis is still there, but it looks like Yuma, he's going to go farm some tier 3 items instead. Felt. Well, for the side of Felt, they're kind of just stuck in their base now. You are still heavily reliant on comfort. Being able to continue that farm up into the heart of Tarask. He's getting close. Perhaps that'll be the turning point for Comfort once he does have the heart up.
Yeah, it's going to help him stand in front of the illusions. The illusion spam can be really annoying. I just don't think you have enough on everyone else to follow up there. Like, you really need more on Tay. Like, he's got the Crystallis up. I feel like a Laguna Blade Ags upgrade plus the Shard would probably help your cause here. Just having the ground.
Yuma, he's in. He's right into Zor and the Sand King. Zor in big trouble. Soulbind is out. Cataclysm into the arena. They just blow up Justice. Koyaanisqatsi, he's gone. Zor is going to try an epicenter, but it's not that much damage. And now Comfort, he's trying to run. The egg is down. The spear is out. They take him. He's just gone. They will at least get the egg. But Zor, he might be dead again with the Sand King. The buybacks are flying out from both sides. Zor just about to fall, and Yuma with the Radiance will be able to get him as now the PL Comfort is going to try and fight back. He'll get the Veilama. Onto Papatuti. Tornado back onto the PL now. Comfort, he is falling very, very low, and the Wraithfire Blast is going to land, and Yuma, he's right on top. Nice and easy. D2 Hustler, they looking very good to take the game as the GG is called, and Felt, they've had enough of this one. They'll call it. Very dominant kind of game from D2 Hustler, especially after the laning phase.
Yep, they just had the patience to hold out. Yuma just got a lot of space. The side of Felt, they were finding that initial farm. They were sort of finding that initial aggression as well. They got some really good timings on Comfort. The PL timing for Yasha and Diffusal were actually very fast. They just never maximized it. Like, Comfort just kept going back to farm. They never hunted down Yuma while they were super strong on the PL. And when it came to the clump ups, it just felt like Hustlers had much clearer lines of communication. They were constantly cutting Felt off, forcing them into a situation where it's 5 versus 3 versus 2. Because Felt are just split up across the map, or at least across that section where they're fighting, and it just never lined up. You had much better AoE control coming out from Hustlers in the end, and Felt with their counter picks just couldn't make it work.
Well, with that, John, of course, we are going to move on to game 2 between Felt and D2 Hustler, and we'll see if Felt can try to force this to a game number 3, or whether D2 Hustlers are going to be able to get that 2-0 victory here today. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire, and we'll be back roughly 10 minutes from now after a very short break to see how our second game is going to go. See you then.